comes a moment in every soul's journey when the noise of this world can no longer silence the whisper of destiny. You can't scroll it away. You can't numb it. You can't run from it. Because when God has chosen you, he will disrupt your comfort. He will shake your nights. He will interrupt your sleep, not to punish you, but to wake you up. This message is not for everyone. This message is for the called, the set apart, the ones who feel something inside shifting, even though the outside looks the same. If that's you, get still, get focused, because God will not let you sleep until you see this. Let me tell you something real. There are two kinds of people walking this earth. Those who are just surviving and those who were sent. You weren't born just to exist. You weren't placed here just to pay bills and die. You were chosen to be the voice in the chaos, chosen to carry the fire when the world grows cold, chosen to stand even when it's easier to fall. And when you are chosen, God won't let you sleep on it. That's why you've been restless. That's why your spirit's been stirring while others snore in peace. That's why you can't blend in, because you weren't built to fit in. You see, purpose is loud in the spirit. It taps on the walls of your mind. It knocks in the silence of the night. It calls your name in places where no one else can hear it. And some of you have been trying to quiet that call. You've been trying to drown it in entertainment, hide from it in relationships, delay it with excuses. But here's the truth. You can't sleep when heaven is speaking. God is not trying to scare you. He's trying to wake you. That restlessness, that ache, that deep knowing that something's missing. It's not anxiety. It's not depression. It's not confusion. It's the alarm clock of your calling going off, because there's work to be done, souls to reach, nations to shake, chains to break. And you, yes, you are part of that mission. You were built for storms. You were called for midnight hours. You were born to be a breaker of generational cycles. And yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, you're misunderstood. But don't let that fool you. You're not abandoned. You're assigned. Assigned to walk roads that others fear. Assigned to shine in the darkest places. Assigned to be the first in your bloodline to say, this ends with me. So if your nights have been restless, if your heart has been heavy, if your dreams keep pointing you toward more, it's because heaven refuses to let you sleep through your season. God is lighting a fire in you that comfort can't contain. So wake up, rise up, because the chosen ones can no longer stay asleep. If you feel restless, uneasy, like something deep within you won't let you relax, you need to understand something. That's not just stress. That's not just another sleepless night. That's a signal from heaven, a sign that God is stirring your spirit, because there is something he placed inside you that cannot stay asleep any longer. You are not like everybody else. And you've known it for a long time. You've tried to ignore it, tried to bury it, tried to explain it away, but the truth is, something in you keeps waking up every time you try to go back to sleep. That is your calling refusing to stay silent. That is destiny reminding you it's still waiting for you to answer. You see, restlessness is not always a problem. Sometimes it's a push, a holy push, a divine disturbance that says, there is more. And if you've been feeling that lately, if your peace seems to disappear the moment you settle, then maybe it's because you're not meant to settle. Maybe comfort is the very thing that's been killing your growth. Maybe that inner turmoil is the fire trying to break through your excuses, your fear, your doubt. The world might call it burnout. Society might tell you to numb it, medicate it, scroll it away. But what if it's not meant to be silenced? What if that restlessness is sacred? When God chooses someone, he doesn't always send an angel or a thunderclap. Sometimes he just removes your peace from everything that's not aligned with his will for your life. You'll sit in rooms that once made you happy and suddenly feel empty. You'll engage in conversations that used to make you laugh, but now make you feel hollow. You'll try to fit into places that used to feel like home and wonder why it now feels like prison. That's not confusion. That's awakening. That's God telling you, this place can no longer hold the person you're becoming. People will look at you and wonder what's wrong. They won't understand why you're pulling away, why you're quiet, why you don't want to party, why you're always deep in thought. But how can they understand what they weren't called to? How can they relate to a burden that was never placed on their shoulders? That restless feeling is not random. It is custom, fit for your calling. It's God's way of making sure you don't fall asleep while your assignment waits. He loves you too much to let you slumber while the world needs what you carry. Some of you have been praying for clarity. You've been asking for a sign. You want the voice of God to boom from the sky. But here's the truth. He's already speaking. He's been speaking through the things that no longer satisfy you, through the dreams that keep returning, through the deep pull you feel towards something greater, something higher, something eternal. That's not coincidence. That's divine orchestration. You've been chosen, and chosen ones rarely rest easy. That doesn't mean life is over. It doesn't mean you can't laugh, enjoy love, and live fully. It just means you can't hide in the same places anymore. It means your purpose is louder than your comfort. It means the world's applause won't satisfy you because heaven is waiting for your obedience. The restlessness is the reminder that your destiny is still active, that your time has not passed, that your mission is still possible, but only if you wake up. And waking up doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means making a decision to stop ignoring the fire in your belly, to stop treating your gift like a hobby, to stop living like you're unimportant, because you're not. You were made for such a time as this. The enemy wants you tired. He wants you confused. He wants you sedated by entertainment, trapped in cycles, surrounded by distractions. Anything to keep you from hearing that divine knock at your soul. But God is persistent. He will let you feel the weight of misalignment until you choose alignment. He will keep you restless in the wrong place so you can move into the right one. So if you're tired, don't just seek rest. Seek revelation. Ask God what he's trying to say through the unrest. What doors is he closing? What habits is he breaking? What people is he removing? What path is he rerouting? Because until you move in the direction of your calling, your soul will refuse to settle. The nights will stay long. The dreams will stay loud. And your spirit will stay awake. Because when you're chosen, restlessness isn't punishment, it's preparation. Comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't announce itself with drama. It doesn't come crashing into your life like a storm. It's slow. It's subtle. It creeps in with soft pillows, predictable routines, and just enough success to make you forget you were made for more. It's dangerous not because it's loud, but because it's quiet. And many of the most gifted, the most anointed, the most called people on this earth have missed their purpose. Not because they weren't talented, but because they got too comfortable. They chose easy over excellence, familiar over faith, safety over assignment. You see, destiny is never found in the comfort zone. God does not stretch you in the places where you feel secure. He doesn't grow you in the shallow end. No, he calls you out into deep waters. He calls you into the unknown where you have to walk by faith, not by sight. And that's where most people freeze. That's where most people turn around. Because stepping into destiny means stepping out of control. It means letting go of the illusion that you've got everything handled. It means trading the known for the divine. But if you keep choosing comfort, you will miss the call. Look around you. Comfort has become the culture. We want instant success, instant results, instant validation. We want blessings without breaking. We want purpose without pressure. But real destiny demands discomfort. You don't become strong by staying in bed. You don't develop character by avoiding storms. And you sure don't walk into greatness without going through some growing pains. If it's easy, it's probably not God. If it costs you nothing, it builds nothing. And if it doesn't scare you just a little bit, it won't stretch you enough to reach the level you were born for. God is not trying to make your life easy. He's trying to make your life eternal. He's not just building a brand. He's building a legacy. So he'll shake the comfortable places. He'll disturb the familiar patterns. He'll allow the ground under your feet to tremble, not to destroy you, but to develop you. That discomfort you're feeling, that pressure in your chest, that urge to break out of the ordinary, that's heaven's signal that comfort can no longer hold your calling. You were never meant to stay in the same place. Your comfort zone is not your final destination. It's just the starting point. But if you stay there too long, it becomes a cage, a soft prison, a padded cell that keeps you from ever knowing how high you could have climbed, how far you could have flown, how many lives you could have changed if you just said yes to the stretch. You'll never unlock what's inside you if you're always trying to stay safe. You'll never see what you're capable of if you only move when it feels good. Greatness has a price. It costs comfort. It costs convenience. It costs control. That's why the chosen ones often walk alone. That's why they're misunderstood. That's why they're pressed from every side. Because God is squeezing out the old to make room for the extraordinary. Some of you are wondering why things are shifting in your life, why your friendships feel different, why your job feels empty, why the things that used to excite you now feel like a burden. It's because God is making you uncomfortable on purpose. You prayed for elevation. You prayed for impact. You prayed for breakthrough. But you didn't realize that those prayers come with pressure. You can't stay where you are and expect to reach where God is taking you. Destiny demands movement. Purpose requires pain. And glory is born in the grind. So don't resent the discomfort. Embrace it. Let it push you. Let it grow you. Let it strip away everything that's shallow, everything that's fake, everything that's safe. Because what God is calling you into, it's bigger than your feelings. It's higher than your plans. It's more powerful than your past. But you'll never see it if you keep settling for what's easy. Comfort will lie to you. It will tell you This is good enough. It will say, you've done enough. But deep down, your spirit knows this is not the end. You didn't survive all that pain, all that loss, all those battles just to stay in neutral. There is more. And that more begins the moment you choose destiny over comfort. There's a reason God pulled you away. There's a reason people walked out. There's a reason you suddenly feel like nobody gets you, like nobody's clapping, like you're standing in a room full of people, but somehow still feel alone. That's not punishment, that's preparation. Because before God elevates a person, he separates them. He takes them out of the crowd. He pulls them out of the noise. He shuts the doors that used to swing open easily. Why? Because isolation is often where heaven does its deepest work. You may think something's gone wrong. You may be questioning why things feel so quiet, why your phone doesn't ring like it used to, why the invitations stopped coming, why the people you thought would ride with you forever suddenly vanished. But let me tell you something you need to hear right now. Sometimes God will strip away every distraction, every voice, every safety net just to get you alone. Because when you're alone, you listen different. You think different. You move different. In the silence, you can finally hear what you were too busy to recognize before. It's not abandonment. It's alignment. Isolation is a furnace. It's a place where things are burned away. The pride, the fear, the approval addiction, the lies you believed about who you were and what you needed to be whole. It's in the quiet places that God reveals who you really are, not the version people liked, not the one that earned applause, but the authentic you, raw, real, and ready. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's lonely, but so is every construction zone. When a building is being restructured, renovated, or rebuilt, they don't leave the doors wide open. They shut it down because it's under process. And so are you. Don't resent the season you're in just because it doesn't look like success yet. Not just because you're not in front of a crowd doesn't mean you're not being prepared for one. Just because they're not clapping doesn't mean God's not calling. The wilderness has always been the training ground of the chosen. Moses met God in isolation. David was anointed in a field no one cared about. Joseph was shaped in a prison. Even Jesus, before the miracles, before the crowds, was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. So if you're feeling the silence, if you're walking through the empty, if everything in your life has gone still, congratulations. You're in good company. You see, in isolation, God removes what can't go with you. He detoxes your mind. He purifies your motives. He shows you what's real and what was just noise. It's where your character gets tested and your calling gets clarified. In isolation, you learn to walk by faith and not by sight. You learn to stand when nobody is watching. You learn to build in the dark. Because if you can stay faithful in the unseen, God can trust you in the spotlight. Some of you have been begging for community, for recognition, for help, for visibility, and that's human. But what if the very thing you're trying to escape, this season of isolation, is the exact tool God is using to make you unshakable? What if you're not being hidden to be forgotten, but hidden to be formed? God never hides what he's done with. He hides what he's preparing to reveal. And when it's time, you won't have to force it. You won't have to beg to be seen. What he births in secret, he reveals in power. But you have to trust the process. You have to be willing to let go of the need to be understood, accepted, liked, or noticed, and lean into the silence. That's where the oil comes from. That's where the anointing is pressed. That's where your next level is born. So if you feel alone, don't lose heart. You're not alone. You're in training. You're not invisible. You're in incubation. The silence is not your end. It's your beginning. You are being built in a place where no one sees, so that when they finally do see you, what's inside of you will not break under pressure. Isolation doesn't mean rejection. It means refinement. Don't fight the season. Embrace it, because when God gets done with you in the quiet, the roar that comes out of your life will shake everything that tried to hold you back. Emotions are real, but they are not the ruler. They are powerful, but they are not your master. If you live by how you feel, you will never fulfill what you were created to do. You have to learn this now. Your assignment is bigger than your emotions. Your purpose is greater than your mood. What you were born to carry can depend on whether or not you feel good today, because greatness doesn't wait for your feelings to agree. And destiny doesn't adjust itself to your emotional temperature. Sometimes you've got to move forward, even when your heart feels heavy. Sometimes you have to rise up, even when your soul feels low. That's the cost of the call. You think the chosen ones always feel strong. You think they always feel ready, confident, full of energy, and overflowing with joy. No. Sometimes they wake up tired. Sometimes they fight battles nobody sees. Sometimes they carry burdens no one claps for. But they move anyway. They show up anyway. They speak anyway, because they know their assignment can't wait for them to feel perfect. Their purpose requires obedience, not comfort. They know that God didn't call them to follow their feelings. He called them to follow his voice. Your emotions will lie to you. They'll say, you're not enough. They'll whisper, this is too hard. They'll shout, just give up. Nobody's listening. Nobody cares. And if you let those feelings drive you, you'll crash every time the road gets steep. You'll start strong and quit halfway. You'll get excited about your vision, but never complete it. You'll confuse the attack for the end, when really, it's just the beginning of your breakthrough. You cannot let temporary emotions cancel eternal assignments. You cannot let one hard day talk you out of the future God has for you. And let's be honest, sometimes it's not even the situation. It's the season. You're not under attack, you're under construction. And construction is messy, it's uncomfortable, it's noisy, and yes, it's emotional. You cry, you get angry, you get anxious, you want to isolate, you want to run. But listen to me, don't move based on what your emotions say in the moment. Move based on what God said from the beginning. Go back to the word. Go back to the vision. Go back to the moment he whispered that purpose into your soul. Hold on to that. Anchor yourself in that. Because feelings will shift like the wind, but the call of God is fixed. You were not chosen to be ruled by your highs and lows. You were chosen to carry something sacred. And that sacred weight requires a strength that only comes through spiritual maturity. You've got to learn how to walk even when your knees are shaking. You've got to learn how to speak even when your voice trembles. You've got to learn how to show up even when nobody sees you. That's what the chosen do. That's how warriors are built. They're not the ones who feel strong every day. They're the ones who refuse to quit even when they feel weak. Some days you'll feel invisible. Some days you'll feel forgotten. Some days you'll feel like your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, but your emotions are not evidence of God's absence. Your feelings are not a sign that you failed. Sometimes they're just proof that you're in the fight. And that's where faith is born, not in your feelings, but in your decisions. Every time you decide to keep going when you don't feel like it, heaven moves. Every time you choose obedience over emotion, you grow. Every time you say yes to God in the middle of your struggle, something eternal is being built inside of you. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to be in the mood. Stop waiting for motivation to fall out of the sky. Purpose isn't for the passive, it's for the disciplined, the focused, the ones who say, I might be crying, but I'm still called. I might be anxious, but I'm still anointed. I might feel weak, but I'm still walking in the assignment God gave me. That's what makes you powerful. Not that you feel great every day, but that you obey anyway. So the next time your emotions start screaming, remember who you are. Remember what you carry. And remind your feelings. They don't run this. Faith does. Purpose does. Obedience does. Because at the end of the day, your assignment isn't waiting on your feelings. It's waiting on your faith. That weight on your shoulders, that heaviness in your spirit, that constant pressure that won't let you rest. It's not random. It's not meaningless. It's not some cruel punishment from heaven. It's proof. It's a sign. It's divine evidence that something greater is coming. You see, people don't carry weight unless they've been chosen to handle it. That struggle you're under, that spiritual pressure that's squeezing you from the inside out, that's not to destroy you. That's to prepare you. Because the weight you carry is directly connected to the glory you're headed toward. You don't go through hell for nothing. You don't survive storm after storm, battle after battle, setback after setback, just to live an average life. No, you were called to carry something heavy because you were created to release something holy. You've got an assignment that demands strength, patience, faith, and resilience. And the only way to carry that kind of power is to first carry that kind of pressure. Everybody wants the crown, but nobody wants the crushing. Everybody wants the blessing, but nobody wants the burden. But what they don't understand is that the two are inseparable. You don't get the oil without the press. You don't get the anointing without the weight. And you don't see the glory until you've carried what tried to break you. And make no mistake, what you're carrying right now, all that unseen labor, all those silent nights of crying out to God, all that spiritual warfare that no one else even knows you're dealing with, that's not weakness. That's not punishment. That's the sign you've been marked. You've been trusted. God doesn't put that kind of weight on someone He's not going to use in a mighty way. There's something inside of you that hell has been trying to stop. There's a message, a movement, a mantle on your life, and the enemy can smell it before it even manifests. That's why you've been under attack. That's why it's been heavier for you than for others. That's why people who started after you look like they're ahead of you, because the deeper the calling, the heavier the preparation. And God has to build your shoulders before He reveals your spotlight. He has to make sure you won't crumble under the glory when it finally shows up. Some of you are asking, why is it so hard? Why do I feel like I'm breaking? But you're not breaking, you're being built. That pressure isn't punishment, it's positioning. It's the hand of God shaping you, chiseling you, refining you, because where you're going, you can't carry dead weight. You can't carry pride. You can't carry offense. You can't carry ego. So he lets the pressure press all of that out of you, because what's coming is too important for you to still be fragile. And hear me, no one sees the private weight you carry. They see the smile. They see the posts. They see the surface. But they don't see the cost. They don't see the nights you didn't sleep. They don't see the days you wanted to quit. But God sees it all. And he says, I'm using it. Every tear, every test, every unanswered prayer, every door that slammed in your face. He's using it to build something eternal in you. That's the kind of weight that produces glory. Not temporary glory, but lasting impact. Glory that doesn't fade. Glory that changes atmospheres. Glory that shakes generations. So don't curse the weight. Don't despise the burden. Don't run from the pressure. Because the very thing you think is breaking you is actually birthing something you've never seen before. The greater the assignment, the heavier the load, but God built you for this. He wired your spirit with the capacity to carry what others can't. He designed your heart with the resilience to endure what would have crushed someone else. And he is not a man that he should lie. If he allowed the weight, he already placed the strength inside of you to carry it. The weight is not a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're chosen. It's a sign you're close. It's a sign that the glory is not far off. And when it comes, when the breakthrough hits, when the doors open, when the light shines, everyone will see what you were carrying in silence. And they'll know it wasn't just struggle. It was sacred. It wasn't just pressure. It was purpose. And it wasn't just weight. It was the womb of glory. Now hear me. This is not just another message. This is your wake up call. This is heaven knocking on the door of your soul saying, get up. It's time. Time to remember who you are. Time to shake off the lies, the fear, the delay, the doubt. Time to stop acting like you're ordinary when you were handpicked by the creator of the universe for something eternal. You are not average. You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond repair. You are chosen. And that means you've been trusted with something weighty, something holy, something that can shake generations. If you would just believe again, the fire you feel, that's not anxiety. That's the call. That's stirring in your chest. That's not stress. That's divine urgency. You were never meant to live in the shadows of your potential. You were never created to blend in with the crowd. No, you were formed in the secret place, set apart, anointed, marked for something far greater than comfort. And God didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't pour all that pain into your life for nothing. He didn't let you go through the valley so you could live on the ground floor forever. No. He allowed it so that when you rise, and you will rise, it won't just be for you. It'll be for the ones watching, the ones coming after you, the ones who need proof that the call is real. Some of you have been asking for a sign. This is your sign. Some of you have been crying, God, if you're real, speak to me. He is speaking now through this message, through this fire in your soul, through this disruption in your comfort. You didn't press play by accident. Heaven has scheduled this encounter because there's a shift happening. And chosen ones don't get to sleep through destiny. You don't get to hide behind excuses anymore. You don't get to let fear run your life. Not when the world is waiting on what you carry. So what now? You stand up, you suit up, you silence every voice that says you're not enough and remind yourself you were born for this. Everything you lost, God's about to restore. Everything that broke you, God's about to use it to bless others. Everything you thought disqualified you, God's about to make it your testimony. But you've got to move. You've got to pray like your life depends on it. You've got to speak like your voice can break chains. You've got to walk like angels are guarding your every step, because they are. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Right now, the earth is groaning for the sons and daughters of God to rise. The enemy has tried everything to stop you. But the fact that you're still standing means the story isn't over. The weight, the isolation, the sleepless nights, the pressure, they've all been leading to this hour. And the moment you decide to say, yes, not with your lips, but with your life, heaven will back you like a rushing wind. Chosen one. You've cried enough. You've doubted long enough. You've waited on a green light when God already gave you the go. It's time to rise. It's time to move. It's time to build, because you weren't born to fit in. You were born to lead. You weren't called to stay safe. You were called to shift atmospheres. You weren't saved to survive. You were chosen to conquer. So tonight, don't sleep the same. Don't wake up the same. From this moment forward, walk like the oil is on you. Speak like the kingdom is in you. Move like heaven is watching, because it is. And when you feel the fire again tomorrow, don't run from it. Embrace it. That's your reminder God's not done. He's just getting started.